The image of the T-10M heavy tank being brought to the front lines has just appeared in the Russian press. This is a huge surprise move. Unlike the T-54-55 or T-62 that are still a lot in stock, the T-10M tank is currently only seen in museums. Moreover, their 122mm shells are also rare, so the move Russia raises a lot of questions. The use of this tank as a fire support vehicle or self-propelled artillery was considered too bulky and unnecessary. It will take more time to see what special role the aforementioned heavy tank plays. As a reminder, the concept of a heavy tank, originally called the IS-5, was presented by designer Joseph Kotin in 1944. However, the Soviet military authorities leaned towards other models, the IS-6 and IS-7. But after a few years, the Soviet Red Army reverted to the Kotin's design, and in the late 1940s, finishing work began to take place as the IS-8. On December 15, 1953, the designation T-10 was accepted by the USSR Ministry of Defense. The tank served for over 40 years before finally being decommissioned in 1997. The T-10 was in production between 1953 and 1966, with numbers up to about 1,500 units. The design underwent several revisions to keep it modern, from the T-10A to the ultimate variant, the T-10M. The T-10 was better than its predecessors in almost every way: firepower, speed, armor, and efficiency. It was a very promising breakthrough that came too late. In the 1960s, the Soviets have realized that the concept of the main battle tank was much more efficient. Guns of similar firepower, as well as reasonable armor, could be placed on a medium tank, which could be much more mobile than a heavy tank. That suited the Soviet because MBTs could be used in many more types of operations than the T-10 or a similar tank. The biggest differences from its direct ancestor, the IS-3, were a longer hull, 7 pairs road wheels instead of 6, a larger turret mounting a new gun with film extractor, an improved diesel engine, and increased armor. General performance was similar, although the T-10 could carry more ammunition, from 28 rounds to 30 rounds. The original idea was to develop the project to improve reliability and enhance armor protection, as well as cross-country maneuverability. The T-10 itself was a modernization of the IS-3, featuring the same proud front hull design, complete with a centrally situated driver's position. The turret and hull were enlarged from the IS-3 to accommodate more armor. Frontally, the T-10M's armor ranges from 200 to 250 mm and over 300 mm around the turret. When compared to the chieftains, the T-10M has more hull armor and even a more evenly protected turret. The main weapon of the T-10 is the new 122mm D25TA main gun, which has a rate of fire of 3 to 4 rounds per minute, while in previous heavy tank models only 2 to 3 rounds per minute. Altogether, this made for an incredibly formidable tank in the 1950s, with very thick armor and impressive lethality to boot. While not as nimble as upcoming Western tank designs, the T-10 was meant to be able to survive a hit. The final variant, the T-10M, was adopted in 1962. It was an almost total overhaul of the design, with the original D-25 cannon being swapped out for a more modern M62T2 cannon, which featured yet another new muzzle brake and film extractor. It also had a newer, more effective stabilizer. The coaxial armament was also improved, swapping the 12.7mm DSHK machine guns for 14.5mm PKV machine guns. Other improvements on the T-10M include night vision equipment for the gunner and driver, improved nuclear protection measures, and better size. But at that time, the next generation of Western and Soviet tanks was well into development. The original T-10 had far better armor than the T-55s and T-54s that were its contemporary, but the T-10M didn't possess significant advantages versus the T-62, much less the upcoming T-64, which utilized composite armor. An interesting fact is that these heavy tanks have never participated in the real war, although the T-10 has been deployed in several operations conducted by the Soviet Red Army. However, it is possible that in the 21st century, it will be in combat for the first time.